Alright, once you have that hole drilled, you go ahead and put your switch through. I usually like to put the lock washer, put that up against here, so that way it locks it in place. Don't have to worry about it moving around once it actually gets tightened down, because those teeth on that washer will grab into the plastic and help it stay in place better. I swear to God, I have put hardware on before, but it just really looks like I have never done this in my life. Bear with me. It doesn't have to be like super tight at first. Really, you just kind of want to snug it in. We're going to solder some wires. There we go. Alright. So we're actually going to solder the wires on this switch to create the on-off, just like that. So what you can do if you've got extra, really you could just take, if it'll reach, a little wire from here to the middle post, and then on back over. Really just cut that in half. This switch, all this switch is doing is making a break between this wire from the board and the battery, and it just disconnects the positive voltage. Okay, so I went ahead, cut that red wire. That's the positive wire. I'm going to trim it back, give it a little solder. I'm going to solder it to that switch lead right there. A very small, thin copper wire in here, so just be careful if you're working with something like this that you don't break it or, you know, rip the wire, because it's easy to do and it can be kind of frustrating. Alright, so yeah, that's not giving us a whole lot, but we'll work with it. And then when we're ready, we'll get our soldering iron. Go ahead and make sure to clean that off, make it nice and shiny. Get all the dirty solder off of it. Tin it up again, load it. A lot of people get lead-free solder. It's a little safer, but you definitely don't want to breathe this in regardless of whether it's lead-free or not lead-free. But go ahead and tin that. That just means to put some solder on that wire. And then we're going to attach it. You can see that. We're going to attach it right there. And then run our new bead of solder right there. You gotta also be careful with these switches. They can get too hot, and you can burn out the insides of them, and they fall apart on you. It's not a good deal. But next, next we're gonna wire up the resistor here, and then put the other wire back here to the board where it goes. Alright, I've got my wire attached. We'll go ahead, do the same thing we did before. Just get in there, drop a little solder on, watch the smoke. Alright, that looks good. Really, I like to give it a little tug just to make sure it's on there. Sometimes the wires just break right off. It's not very good. Alright. Okay, now we're going to make room for this LED in the top of our panel. Good, get our micrometers out again. 5.4 millimeters. So again, we can use our step bit, run it down about 4 steps, make sure everything's clear. Trying to find you a nice little spot on the top or wherever. I mean, you guys are probably not going to be using this exact keyboard, but I'm going to put it here right in the O, because that sounds like kind of a cool place to put it. Maybe not. Maybe I want to put something, maybe I want to put something there later. Let's put it right up here by the R. Alright, just make sure we're not going too crazy. And again, this has got some hardware. Just take that hardware off. Got a washer and a nut. Slide that through there. That is a little snug, so we're going to go one more step. Alright. Yep. There we go. There we go. I'm going to flip that over. Oh, shit. Alright, well, I got in a hurry, fucked that up. Here's what we're going to do, okay? I'm going to cut this standoff off. That's not ideal. Again, these are some of the mistakes that you can make by doing this. You know, just check and make sure you're not going to run into anything. Get yourself a pair of side cuts. But yeah, in that case, I definitely ran into that standoff. That's alright. One less screw isn't going to not hold this thing together. So we'll go ahead and tighten it down. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and wire this up. And we'll have a light and a switch. We'll be able to turn this thing on and off.